Fear and greed are the two emotions that cause investors the most damage, but they're also the two emotions that allow us to capitalize on mispriced stocks in the market. The only way that we're able to find a company that is mispriced is not because we're able to get access to information before everybody else, because the market is acting irrationally. There are people that are either too scared to invest for some reason and it's being pushed down too far, or we're seeing way too much greed in the market and the company is being pushed up too high. As a value investor, I tend to avoid companies that are pushed up too far. I don't like to short companies typically. And then I like to go after companies that are experiencing some fear and are pushed down a little bit too low. And the sector or the industry that I am seeing a lot of fear today is the travel industry. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market in terms of the economy. There is international conflict. People are scared of the travel industry, and therefore it represents an opportunity. There are going to be some companies that are oversold, which create opportunity for me to swoop in and buy. The first step is I like to utilize my favorite stock screener on stockanalysis.com. I'm only filtering for companies right now based on the travel services industry and by market cap over 10 billion. And then I'm looking at them in order of price to free cash flow and revenue projections over the last 5 years. So I really am interested in this revenue projection because if the travel industry is at risk, I want to find the companies where analysts have determined, hey, this company is not actually at as much risk for losing revenue in the future. And I also like to take into account this price to free cash flow ratio. So right off the bat, Trip.com has the highest revenue projection for the future, and Airbnb. Now, Airbnb I've already invested in. For Trip.com, for some reason, they are not showing this price to free cash flow ratio, which is very important to me. Free cash flow is the number one thing that I'm looking at in a company. I want to see a low share price compared to a high free cash flow, because the free cash flow is the money that a company is returning to shareholders. They're either reinvesting it in growth, they're buying back shares, they're paying a dividend, or they're paying off debt, all things that are good for me. So a high free cash flow or a low price to free cash flow margin. Since Trip.com has such a high revenue, let's check out their ratios tab and see what is their price to free cash flow. This is on quarterly. Let's go to annual. So here's the reason. For some reason, Stock Analysis is not calculating their current price to free cash flow, but for fiscal year 2024, they're at 17, which is pretty good considering the lowest is Expedia, followed by Carnival and Viking. So they're in the middle of the pack, a little bit lower than Airbnb.com. So this is a great start. I'm going to look a little bit deeper into Trip.com and do a discounted future free cash flow valuation to see if they are truly undervalued. This is my automated spreadsheet where all I have to do is type in the ticker and then it will calculate the valuation based on the discounted future free cash flow. Now I do have to enter in a little bit of information, tweak some things to make it as accurate as can be. Before I get into that, let me show you my Buffett supplement down here at the bottom where I use Warren Buffett's red flags. I have this automatically calculated so I can see, are there any reasons why I should avoid investing in this company or anything I need to look into a little bit further before I decide to take this to the next step. So really quick, if something is highlighted green, it's a green flag, meaning that it's so good that Warren Buffett has determined that this is evidence that this company could have a competitive, durable advantage over its peers. And then if it's highlighted red, then it is a red flag that needs to be looked into a little bit further. So green flags right off the bat, gross margin, profit margin. This looks really strong, 32% profit margin in 2024. According to Warren Buffett, if it's over 20%, then it's considered a green flag. So Trip.com is very profitable, meaning they may have a competitive advantage. Their R&D cost is a red flag. Warren Buffett does not like to see high R&D because if a company is constantly having to change their product to stay on top, then they don't necessarily have a competitive advantage. So 30% is just barely into red flag territory. Warren Buffett says anything over 30% is borderline, but it is technically a red flag. Their profit is going up every year. Their earnings per share is going up every year. That is good to see. Their long-term debt divided by profit is very low. This means they could pay off all of their long-term debt in a year and a half if they dedicated all their profit to do so. That's what Warren Buffett likes to see. Their retained earnings is going up every year. They're constantly profitable. We don't need to look at inventory to profit because Trip.com doesn't really have inventory. Their debt to cash levels are looking really strong. Cash in red is going up while their debt is going down. That's a really good sign. Goodwill is constantly going up. And then their capital expenditures is low compared to their earnings. Their depreciation is low. and they do not have any liquidity problems. Their current ratio is above 1. Their operating cash flow is going up every year. And then the one thing that I would like to see going in the different direction is the shares outstanding. They are increasing their shares outstanding anywhere from 5 to 2.5 to 2%. Typically, I would prefer to see their shares outstanding going down, meaning the company is performing share buybacks, but there's not a ton of dilution going on right here. So I would say I'll give Trip.com a pass on this regard. Trip.com has a lot of green flags. They do not have very many red flags that I'm worried about. So I'm going to take this analysis to the next level and actually calculate what I believe to be their intrinsic value based on their future free cash flows. So how do I find their future free cash flows? First thing I like to look at is the revenue projections from the professional analysts. I think they're going to do as good a job as anyone at determining what are their future revenues. So to find that, I go to stockanalysis.com, go to the forecast tab and scroll down just a bit to the revenue growth tab. The analysts are saying in 2025, we're looking at an average estimate of 17% revenue growth. And the average analyst is saying double-digit growth to upper single-digit growth for the next 5 years. So that is really strong revenue growth going forward. The lowest analysts are saying 11% growth in 2025 and then slowing down in 4 to 5 years. So this is already looking really strong. I'm going to copy all of this information, paste it into my spreadsheet right here. And what is the intrinsic value based on the future free cash flow? Now, the way I go from revenue to free cash flow is I look at the historical free cash flow margin. That is the percentage of revenue that the company is able to create free cash flow. So the past free cash flow margin has been 16%. There is a little bit of nuance to be seen here because if I look at 2020, Trip.com had negative free cash flow. We all know that COVID was going on. This is a primarily Chinese company. They do operate internationally, but China had particularly stringent lockdowns. So in my mind, this is a little bit of a extreme situation. Even in a market slowdown, we're not going to see the whole travel industry being shut down by the government unless there's another pandemic, which I think is unlikely at this point. So I'm going to exclude 2020 from my past revenue projection. I'm also going to take into account Trip.com's stock-based compensation. So if I turn over real quick to stockanalysis.com and go to their financial tab and the cash flow tab, I can see right here that their operating cash flow, which is a primary component of their free cash flow. To calculate free cash flow, you take the operating cash flow and then you subtract capital expenditures. Now, in this case, Trip.com's operating cash flow is benefiting quite a bit by stock-based compensation. In this case, stock-based compensation is not counted as an expense in terms of cash flow. This operating cash flow, it is being increased by $2 billion because the company gave out shares instead of paying their employees in cash. Their operating cash flow, in my mind, is being a little bit artificially inflated by about $2 billion. So I'm going to count the stock-based compensation against their free cash flow. So if I go back down to my spreadsheet, I give them a little bit of credit for their R&D because R&D is counted 100% against. And I believe that R&D does aid in future free cash flows to some extent. So I'm giving them credit for 10% of their R&D. This is where that calculation happens. 10% of their capital expenditures. Now these are pretty low figures, so it's not going to make a huge impact. And then I'm counting 90% of their stock-based compensation against. So these are the new averages, which gives me a total average of 14%. So counting stock-based compensation against is reducing their free cash flow margin. However, I am going to exclude this year, 2020. In China, they still had a lot of lockdowns in 2021 and 2022 in terms of restricting travel. So these 2 years are even probably a little bit artificially pushed down. And I can see that if I go back to stockanalysis.com and look at their free cash flow margin history over the last 10 years. Right here, free cash flow margin, 35 in 2024, 48 in 2023. Here we have our bad years. And then as I go back in time, I can see 18, 20, 24, 23, 22. This company has historically had much higher free cash flow. It has been probably a little artificially high in the last 2 years because people have been suppressed in their travel. So they're going to be traveling a little bit more than normal. So I don't feel confident going as high as 35% for my free cash flow margin. However, I do want to go a little bit higher than 14. So I'm going to take the average of the last 4 years, excluding 2020, which gives me a sum of 98.78% divided by 4 to find the average. That's about 25% free cash flow margin, which is 9% higher than the calculation I'm using here. So I'm going to add 9% and see what are the new analyst free cash flow projections. Assuming the highest analysts are correct, we have a current upside of 142%. This is putting the fair share price at $147. Trip.com's current share price is $60. So according to the highest analyst projections, Trip.com is incredibly undervalued. Even the average analysts are putting the fair share price at $103. And let me be a little bit more clear. This is actually my calculation for the intrinsic value. I'm only using the analyst projections for future revenue. So based on the average analyst revenue projections, my calculation for intrinsic value is $103 per share. And the lowest revenue projections still put my intrinsic value calculation at a 16% upside. And that is on top of the 7.67 discount rate that I'm currently using. The way I got that discount rate, this is for discounting the future free cash flows. I like to use alphaspread.com and I like to use the cost of equity. Now in this case, Trip.com, their risk-free rate is incorrect for some reason, so I'm using Expedia instead. This is the actual risk-free rate. I'm not sure, to be honest, what happened there. But if I use Expedia's cost of equity, we have 7.67. They have the same beta and the same equity risk premium as Trip.com. See, we have 0.77 and 4.12. This is the only figure that's different. In any case, we're going with 7.67. With those numbers in place, I'm seeing a worst case scenario of 16% upside according to the analyst. That looks really good to me. Now, what I can do is tweak some of these revenue projections and see what is the resulting intrinsic value based on alternate futures that could take place. So if instead of a 3% revenue growth, this is my projection right here, if I change it to 0, so let's say we have 0 revenue growth for the next 5 years, and then the 5 years after that, we return to a 5% revenue growth and then a 3% revenue growth going into infinity, then we're looking at a share price of about 63. So what I'm seeing is the market is pricing in 0 revenue growth for the next 5 years, and then roughly 5% revenue growth after that, which would be much lower than their past revenue growth. Their past revenue growth has been 23% over the last 5 years. And if I use that same past revenue growth projected forward, then I'm seeing a 161% upside. This is just saying, okay, past revenue projection for the last 5 years is going to be the same as the next 5 years. And then we use our updated free cash flow margin and we have a share price of 158. Now, this number right here is the exchange rate on stockanalysis.com. They are calculating all their financials in the Chinese currency. So the exchange rate from the Chinese yuan is 0.14. So that's where that number comes from. With that in mind, considering the lowest analysts are still giving me a 16% upside, I think Trip.com is artificially pushed down in price. I think there's so much fear in the market around the travel industry that there is some opportunity to be had with this stock. Now, I wouldn't invest everything I have into Trip.com because there is a significant amount of risk here. The travel industry is at risk. That is true. But with greater risk comes a greater return potential. This is my public YouTube portfolio investing series where I invest in a different stock every week. That is how I keep my portfolio very diversified. So I can afford to invest a small amount of money into a stock in a risky sector. So really quick, we can look at my portfolio update. Currently, I have invested in 21 different companies. We have a money weighted rate of return of 14%. Portfolio value is $3,116. We're up $209. So every week we're investing $100 into a different company. And here is our performance so far. If I filter this by the best purchases on top and the worst purchases on bottom, you can see Hims is my #1 performing stock right now. However, this portfolio has a long-term mindset. I'm not judging the success of a stock based on how it's performed over the last few months. This portfolio is aimed to perform well over many years. So I am investing in companies that are currently having a very good free cash flow compared to their current price. So even if they do not perform well at first, like for instance, Google is currently down 5%, this is still a very high conviction stock for me. I would not consider Google to be a bad investment at this time. Now, in a few years, as I look back, if Google does not have greater than, say, 10% year-over-year return for me, after 5 years has gone by, at that point, I would consider Google to be a failed investment. The other way that I determine if I should be selling out of a company because it is a failed investment is I continue to check their free cash flow projections and perform the discounted future free cash flow analysis. If a company ever has a share price that is way higher than what their future free cash flow would suggest, then at that point, I consider selling out of a company and cutting my losses. Or if a company's share price is pushed up way too much and their current share price just does not justify their projected free cash flow, at that point, I might sell a little bit and take some profit. So that is the mindset for this portfolio. If you enjoyed this kind of analysis, but you want to see a little bit closer how my spreadsheet works and how I use it, check out this video right here, and I hope to see you there. Look at this. Look at this. Okay.